Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, if you would please be so kind to like this video, only takes a second. Share this video, only takes a second. Leave a comment on the video. Doesn't have to be long, but it definitely helps me out, and I appreciate that. And also make sure you subscribe to this channel. I will, as I evolve and as I grow, I want you to be a part of the process. And without you, I'm not going to be able to get the message out there to people. And without further ado, I'd like to just go ahead and dive in, okay? So, what I want to talk to you today about is the aspect of relationships where we're adapting and adjusting. Now, depending on who you talk to at any given time, you will notice that certain things people will not open themselves up to, adapting to, adjusting to, and making concessions or sacrifices for. And I think it's really, really important that if you need to know going into the relationship that there are going to be things that you can do and there are going to be things that you can't do. There are things that you can do in this particular phase of your relationship now that you're not going to be able to do in another particular phase in your relationship. Are you going to have the ego that prevents you from making the adaptation that's necessary for your relationship to thrive as best as it can? Because when you're in a relationship with someone, you want to be in a relationship where your needs are met and their needs are met too. If you think that you're going to have a relationship where you're going to get what you need out of it, I'm not talking about once, but you're going to get what you need out of it, and then that's it. It is not going to be, it's going to be a passing relationship. It's not going to be a lasting relationship. Now, every time a relationship ends, it's death. So, are you going to continue to have a relationship, to continue to have relationships with people where it's just going to be a passing relationship? Like, think about all of the relationships that people get themselves involved in as an individual. When they look back on it, someone was being selfish, because relationships do not have to end. If two people want a relationship to work out, it will work out if they put in the work and make the sacrifices. The question is, are the sacrifices compromising who you are as a person, the integrity of you? Because at the end of the day, relationships should end under the conditions that there is abuse, okay, or there is a lack of effort, okay. And that needs to be squared away and understood in the beginning of the relationship. Like when you got, like when you listen, when you lock eyes on someone and you feel like there is something there, it probably is. But as soon as you can identify that there is something there, guess what you have to do with that person? You have to sit down and you have to get as much understanding as you can before the feelings get involved, because we've all been here at some point, if you live long enough, being in a relationship with somebody that you don't need to be in a relationship with and getting your feelings involved, because your feelings it's like adhesive. It keeps you with that person. There is no reason to be in a relationship with someone unless there is clear cut comprehension that this person has what you need and want to give it to you, and vice versa. And it happens all the time. We get in these relationships, and let's use sex for an example. I don't think any relationship has issues with sex in the beginning. Do you know why? Because the The male and the female that's involved, or whatever, male, male, female, female, male, female, whatever it is, whomever is involved in that relationship understands or comprehends that the other person has a sex drive that's at a certain level, and they know what needs to be done in order to meet that level of sex drive. We see it happen all the time. We've experienced it. You get with a person, the sex is great. It's great. It's frequent. It's intense. It's compassionate. It's all of the adjectives that you want to use to describe the sex. And guess what? Once the relationship is secured, then there is a withdrawal by someone in the relationship where those adjectives they start to dissipate. The intensity, the frequency starts to dissipate. And then those adjectives used to describe the sex life, that aspect of the relationship, or anything else, it starts to fill in. The filler becomes excuses. You start making excuses as to why. Inexcusable, excusable, it doesn't matter. They're excuses. They're excuses. I'm tired. I've worked all day. I don't feel like that right now. I got something else to do. Whereas there had been no higher height in the relationship, in most cases, than in the beginning. See, because when you don't want to have sex a lot, and you come across somebody who does want to have sex a lot, and you're honest with yourself, you say, this is going to be a problem at some point. So why would I even bother? Now, that's the righteous thing to do because a lot of times I see this happen where women will tell men that what they need is a want and it's not necessary. Or I will see a lot of times there is some clinical definition for the nature of a man to make him feel unnatural, to make him feel unnatural, so that he can change his behavioral patterns to mimic the desire of the woman. For instance, guy may want to do it 2 or 3 times a day, and a woman is just like, want to do it 2 or 3 times a week. She doesn't say anything in the beginning because she's trying to get to know. She's trying to get access to a relationship. She sees a lot of promise with him, this, that, and the other. And men control the access to the relationships, and women control the access to the sex. And then all of a sudden, she gets access to that relationship. So the things she did to tie him down, secure him, those things start to dissipate. And then when he makes mention of it, when he's craving it, when he's asking for it, when he's saying, what's going on? Why is there a change? Why can't I have access to you? Then there is some clinical definition to put that man down, to make him feel like he has a problem, so that he can bring his frequency level down to her level in that aspect. And then what happens is, if he does bring that frequency level down to where she is, then she can be comfortable in her natural element, but he can't be comfortable in his element because he's not operating naturally. Now, you're not going to want to hear this, but this goes back to what I'm saying about relationships, every aspect. This isn't about sex. That is the subject we're talking about. But we can talk about quality time. We can talk about going seeing plays. We can talk about cooking in the kitchen. Whatever it is that he needs and whatever it is that she needs. We can take the gender out of it. If it's something that your partner needs and you are providing this need at some point in time, that is the reason that they opted in to being in a relationship with you. It's like you have a lot of women that'll sit there and say, I've been proposed to 4 times, 5 times. But why didn't you marry any of them? Because who was proposing to you, you didn't feel like met the criteria. You want to take the aspect of so many men proposing to you as a reward, a notch around your belt to show I'm desired, I'm loved. That's what you're saying. You're saying, I'm desired, I'm loved. Do you see how many men propose to me? But you're not really thinking about the totality of what you're saying, which is you entertain men that you don't want to be with. So what does that say? It's real simple, ladies. If a man comes into your, stop entertaining men that you don't want to be with, don't see yourself having a future with. Stop treating stopgap men to you. Stop giving them hope and making them think they are more than what they are. If you can't see yourself being with him, why even entertain him? Why entertain him? Have some integrity. Stop entertaining certain guys because they got some things that you want. Maybe it's money, maybe it's fame, maybe it's clout. I don't know what it is. But if you're not interested in a guy, like, just don't entertain him. The lifestyle that you want, ladies, you should be able to provide yourself with on your own. You see it happen all the time. A woman will want to go to eat at this particular restaurant. She can't see herself coming out of her pocket and paying for her meal just by herself if she goes. But she wants a man to come along and pay for that meal and her meal and his meal. And sometimes her girlfriend's meals too. But she would never open her wallet to pay for that. If she had to open her wallet to pay for that meal, she would be looking at the prices if they're provided on the menu. She would be looking at the prices more than anything else. But here comes this man who she's not really interested in, but she knows he's interested in her. And she's going to order the most expensive thing on the menu because she wants a sponsorship for experiences that she wants to have instead of going out there and creating that experience for herself. So I think what a lady needs to do, what a woman needs to do, is she first needs to, see, ladies understand this. Women, what you need to first understand is, can you be pleased with the lifestyle that you can provide yourself? And if you can't be pleased with the lifestyle that you can provide yourself, then you need to start trying to figure out what on your lifestyle list is need and want. And you've got to be willing to make peace with the lifestyle of need. I'm not saying settle, but what I'm saying is the expectations that you place on a man to be able to provide this fancy lifestyle. You have to be willing to do this right here. And that is give that man realistic expectations. No woman should put a man in a expectation windmill of buying name brand foreigns as a standard. Nobody's saying you can't have that taste. And nobody's saying you can't get to that point with that man where he does that, but let him do it. Let him do it. You want a man that spoils you so much. But when's the last time you spoiled yourself? See, it's always an appreciation for when you buy something out of your hard work. But you'll never appreciate something from somebody when they do it for you. It's just human nature. You just don't. When I grew up, my mom would buy me things, and I did not have the same appreciation for those things as to when I had to go in my own pocket and I had to buy it. I had 2 jobs in the summer when I was in high school, my junior year. Okay. And I worked really hard. And so when I got my paychecks, I looked at those paychecks, and just the look of them, it was like, man, I earned this. Man. And then I started thinking about what I did to earn it. And when I figured out what I did to earn it, it made me that much more selective with what I did with it. Because the first couple of checks you get, you just spend those as fast as you get them. But then when you're broke and it's the middle of the week and you ain't got no money and you're waiting until Friday to get paid, it screws with you. Because the next time you get paid, if you are in your right mind, you're going to say, okay, now I need to be a little more careful. I need to at least make this money last until my next check. Then you start getting better where you start saying, hey, look, how far can I stretch this check? To the point where, let me tell you something. When you waiting on a check because you don't have any money, it's different than when a check is supposed to come, but you got money. That's a difference. And a lot of you know what check to check means. A lot of you know what check to check means. So you know what I'm saying. But when you're sitting in there, let's just say for an example, you make $1,000 a week. And then by Tuesday of the following week, your $1,000 is gone. And you're waiting Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, if you get paid every week, to get your next $1,000 check. That Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it's a challenge. But when you get to Thursday and you got, I don't know, from $1,000 last week, you got about $750. Of course you're looking forward to your next $1,000 paycheck. But you ain't sweating. You're not sweating. And if you have some carryover effect, y'all remember that phone company from back in the day, Singular? They used to have, they advertised the rollover minutes. Whatever minutes that you didn't use this month, you get to use next month. And you would just stack those minutes up. Because if there ever came a time where you had to use your phone a lot, it was available for you. So it was like the saving concept. So it's the same thing here, ladies. If you want something, if you want a particular lifestyle, no one, and I know in the manosphere, we're talking about women not working and this, that, and the other. And I personally, I like that idea. But the fellas got to make sure that they can take care of them the way they need to be taken care of. But we're not saying, hey, look, ladies, stop going to school, stop getting education, stop trying to go and work and this, that, and the other. We're trying to say have some kind of balance with it. See, now our women get carried away because they get so caught up in their career. They forget about everything. They forget about building a family. They forget about trying to secure a husband in her youthful years, stuff like that. They don't think about that stuff. But what we're trying to say is you see other ethnicities, they don't have that problem. You know, the Asian woman, the the woman from the Middle East, the woman from Europe, anyone, right, other than black women, they go to school and they understand, I want to get me an education, but I'm also here to shore up my future and find the best man of it. See, when you think about men and you think about the best man available, okay, quintessentially, that dude is in college. If you want a man that's already got it secure, you're talking about getting with a man 40, 45, 50 years old. And we know a lot of you don't want that. Some of you will do that, but we know a lot of you don't want that. You want to find a man that is around your age, that can vibrate with you, and this, that, and the other. And I get that. When you're in your 20s, you can entertain potential more, but there is a realistic trending potential. Whether this guy's in school or not, if this guy's not in school and he has a business and you see fruits of his labor and stuff like that, the potential has to be actual running potential. It can't just be potential. You can't sit down with a dude and say, okay, I want to be with you because you got big plans, you got big dreams. That ain't gonna mean nothing. It's a balance. You got big dreams. Show me what your progression is. Show me the timeline, the realistic timeline. Hey, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? And what have you done? These are the questions that ladies need to have in their head when they are asking the questions that they need. They need to be centered around those types of things, because because a woman needs to know about her security and her provisions. Are the securities and the provisions going to be made? And if it's done tastefully, it's not a gold digger. But it's a balance of trying to find out, okay, you want to be a lawyer one day, but you're not in law school. That's not what you want. But if you want to be a lawyer one day and you're in law school and you're making good grades, that's moving potential. Do you understand? Hell, even my ex saw me playing football, and my moving potential was that I would go to the NFL. And when and as soon as it stopped looking like that, she stressed to me. She was very disappointed in me. Callous, yes, but there was some aspect of what she was doing that was right, which was she saw moving potential. But now the wrong thing was she was inhumane about it. It was like she withheld her feelings to see if it was going to pan out. And I'm so glad it didn't pan out, because I didn't want to be with somebody that wasn't feeling me. Now, when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about relate. Relate. That's the first word in relationship. Do you guys relate? Is there a relation in your values? Is there a relation in your sense of direction and where you're going? Is there a relation in the destination? How well does you as a woman bode with him as a man, or the opposite? How well does it bode for you guys going and trending in the direction that's going to lead to where you both want to go? Because when we talk about men having visions, it's not that women don't have visions. Women have visions too. But her vision has to be paired with the man that she's trying to be with. His vision needs to be, they have to be going in the same direction. And sometimes we meet people in our lives and it's like two ships passing in the night. We think that because we're on the same road or we're in the same stream, that, oh man, this is great. We're going together. Hey, hey, we're on the same path. You may be on the same path, but you're not going in the same direction. So that's just as bad as not being on the same path at all. Maybe they are where they've been where you want to go, and you've been where they want to go. And that's the enthusiasm between the two of you. But you need to recognize if that's the case. Because if that's the case, I'm telling you, at best, it's going to be a passing relationship. That's what I mean by a passing relationship. And you don't want a passing relationship. Why would you want your feelings involved with something or someone that you have to say goodbye to, and especially saying goodbye to so soon? I'm not talking about untimely deaths or anything like that. I'm talking about finding out that the person that you are trying to do something with ain't the person that you're supposed to be doing anything with. There's clues, there's signs. Take notes. You need to understand that if you doing something for somebody else takes you off your grid, that is the sign that that person is not for you. If doing something for somebody else gives them a sense of joy, peace, and happiness, and it makes you sad, creates anarchy for you, and derails you, you can't be making people happy like that. You can't be doing that. Making you happy should bring me joy. Making you happy should move me closer to my goals. Making you happy should give me peace. There should be a circle of reciprocation. Circle of reciprocation. Okay? If she is amplifying me and taking and making me bigger, making me better, making me more productive, in turn, I should naturally want to enhance her. That means in every way, beautify her. See, ladies, this is how you get that Birkin bag. This is how you get those Louis Vuittons. This is how you get those types of things. Because if I meet you and I'm making the average income of a man, which is $50,000, and then you give me an opportunity to be able to concentrate and focus on that. And even some of y'all think that I'm going to turn him into a business owner, this, that, and he may never want to be a business owner, but there is a way to get what it is that you desire and want, but you have to roll up your sleeves and get it. And I've said this before, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to. But what I'm saying is, if he's making $50,000 a year, or whatever the case may be, your job isn't to try to go out there and say, well, I make $50,000 too, so let's live off 100. No, your job is to try to figure out how you guys can continue to live off of 50,000 and how you can invest the other 50,000. Because we talk about work, and that's all you have to do. But the people who are really sitting pretty in life, they're not working. They have infrastructures and systems in place that are either ran by people or ran by their money. And they have the freedom and the luxury to be able to move around the way that they want to move. And the two of you coming together should be an enterprising force that's figuring out what mode of travel is going to take you to the place where your money is starting to work for you. You can't tell me that if you had 15 houses that you were getting paid $1,700 a month on, that income wouldn't be some type of income that you guys could live off of each and every month, year after year after year. And then the concept would automatically make you expand that from 15 to 30 houses to maybe you get into commercial real estate, investing in insurance, stuff like that. Y'all aren't getting this because y'all aren't told about this. Marriage is less about love and it's more about economics. But y'all take the economic side of it and y'all want front-ended economics. But marriage is a marathon. And if it's ran like it's supposed to be ran at the pace that it's supposed to be ran, it is a beautiful thing. But the way y'all have y'all marriages set up today, it's imprisonment. Doing the right things in your marriage feels like slavery to you. You can't sacrifice spending money right now for an abundance that's going to allow you, just off of interest, more money than you could have ever imagined spending. You're happy that you got an extra $2,000 a month and you're trying to go dumb with that $2,000 a month instead of trying to use that $2,000 or as much of that $2,000 as a seed money to make something else happen for you. Year after year, your credit is shot. Year after year, you don't own any properties. Year after year, you don't own any life insurance. Year after year, you don't have any investments. Year after year, you don't even have any money in your savings account because you are too busy trying to make sure that everybody sees you in your glory. Everybody sees you with that $600, $1,000, $1,500 hairdo you got. That everybody sees you in this exclusive outfit that you have, shoes that you have, bags that you have. Like, these things matter. And the reality of the situation, don't nobody care about you. Don't nobody care about you. You walking past and you look good. But most people's mindset is, if I can't make money with you, then forget you. You over there doing really well, but you doing well ain't doing me well. Matter of fact, that's going to make me mad. You better watch your back because I'm going to snatch your stuff from you when I catch you lacking and I catch you slipping. You doing all of this flexing out here and you creating oppositions for yourself that you're not even aware of. Do you think, rest in peace, do you think P&B Rock had set enemies in the area that he was in? No, probably not. And if he did, think about how many people that died from somebody that they didn't have a relationship at all with. Then you're sitting around and you're making everybody, you're sitting around and you think that the enemies that you have are the enemies that you know. But you know what? When you open yourself up, you will have enemies from people that you don't know. There'll be people who will listen to me and for whatever reason just won't like me. So I'm foolish to think I'm not out there causing any trouble. Don't nobody need to have any beef with me. Man, you have to walk around every day and understand that there are some undercover haters out there waiting to pluck you off, waiting to snatch your stuff, waiting to get you. You have to be on cue and on point all the time. You have to make sure your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted every second, every nanosecond of the day. But you think you got control over everything. Sis, bro, don't nobody care about what you got. What you got is for you and only for you. Okay? Unless what you got, you're intentionally using it to benefit somebody else. Man, don't nobody really care. You know, Cat Williams said this one time. He said, you got them spinning rims. And when you're driving, you can't even see them. The only way you know that you got spinning rims is you got to pull up to a stop sign and you have to look at somebody else looking at your rim spinning. And is that why you're spending so much money to get other people to rise off of you? Like, what does that profit you? You talking about really wanting to take it there? You're going on the best that some of you will do with the mindset that you have is to go on a weekend vacation, a weekend getaway, or if you're lucky, a week getaway. Some of you have 2, 3, and 4 weeks worth of vacation on your jobs, and you can't afford to be gone 2, 3, 4 weeks of those vacation days. So you end up spending your vacation at home doing nothing half the time. That's the life you want? Or do you want to have a life where you're trying to build? You get that man, he's got $50,000. Don't balk at him. If you find him attractive, right? If you find him sexy, if you're drawn to him, stop looking at his circumstances and fighting yourself like, oh, I don't want to be with somebody like that. No, you're attracted to him. You're vibrating with them. Okay? You got to vibe with him. And you're going to make a decision to not allow yourself to get close because you don't want to struggle. Well, you know the aspect of a woman, what a woman's supposed to do, whether she knows it or not, she's supposed to either build a man up or tear a man down. She can't do nothing. She can't do in the middle. She will build a man up, whether she's trying to or not, or she will tear a man down, whether she's trying to or not. And either way, the only way she can build a man up subconsciously is if it's in her to do right. But most of these women out here today, not all of them, but most of these women out here today are so self-centered, looking for sponsorships. They're not thinking about how they can benefit another man. So subconsciously, even when she's not checking, she's tearing a man down. She ain't got to be saying nothing bad about him to tear him down. But dang it, if she gets into his life and he loves to take care of her, and every time she gets, but he's running around chasing her dreams, buying her this, buying her that, buying her this, buying her that. I ain't telling him to buy it to him. Yeah, but he knows that you want it. He knows that you like it. He's trying to do whatever he can to make you happy. And you got to make sure you check him on that. Baby, listen, I know you want to do these things for me, but let's invest our money right now. Let's look at ways to invest our money. We are in the information age. If you don't know what to invest your money in, man, just open your eyes. The information is there. Find somebody that has the information. Go see a financial planner and start talking to them about some of the things that you want to accomplish, your dreams and goals. Don't forget to hit me up at buckeyefinancialllc.com if that's what you want to do. But again, on another note, find out from a financial planner what options are available out there to making your goals a reality. Because listen, if you knew how many years, let's just say you were 25 years old and you got married. And let's just say you knew you were going to live for another 60 years. Okay? And I told you, okay, if you can seek basic accommodations for the next 3 to 5 years, the rest of the years of your life would be blissful. Would you sacrifice that? Most of you aren't thinking about that because your emotions don't allow you to think about nothing but today. That's the kryptonite of women, emotions. It's great that women are emotionally more mature than men are. Or what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional intelligence. Okay, great. You're emotionally intelligent. Well, if you're emotionally intelligent, then you're supposed to be in check of your emotions. So that would mean you would want to go out there and get these high-end items or have a high-end lifestyle. But you'll sacrifice that for the moment because even though he makes $50,000 a year, you guys can piece together money to be able to invest. And interest, it's amazing what happens with interest. Interest makes things grow. So what looks little to you right now and what looks unimpactful to you right now begins this snowball effect down the hill. And you'll look up one day, and if you're consistent, man, that snowball will be so huge that you can take some of the snow from the snowball and it won't even look like you took any snow from the snowball. And it'll be enough to go on your vacation for a week. Maybe enough to go on a vacation for a month. Go on a shopping spree, $25,000, $30,000. You know, it could just take you and your family to places and do things and have experiences that a normal $50,000 income wouldn't be able to do. That's why you see it sometimes. You see somebody working at the most basic jobs and then they end up getting a house. The most basic job and they end up getting a car. And some of them maintain what they have to. Or how can somebody do well after they lose a job? A job is just over broke. It's supposed to take you from point A to point B. But point B can't be continue to have a job. The strategy of a marriage should be, how can we retire one another? Because see, even in every circumstance, even if it's a man that works and a woman that stays at home, you want to try to retire that man from his job, but you also want to try to retire that woman from housework. You're both supposed to be trying to work together to retire each other, because the ultimate goal is to marry somebody that you like, so that you can get all of your free time and you can spend time with the person that you like. Some of you are with somebody that you don't even like, and you don't even find out you don't like the person until retirement happens or those kids get out of the house. Why? I mean, this is why you need to be with your best friend. You out there trying to be with the most attractive man, the most attractive woman. Is that person attractive to you? And if that person is attractive to you, that's the lead up. Then when you go and you test drive the car that you like, and you find out, you know what, this is a comfortable car. Listen, I know some American cars that drive and feel so comfortable. And then I know these foreign cars that drive and feel so comfortable. And it's a temptation to want the foreign because it's more rare. But that foreign car ain't rare where it was built. Okay? I think, what is it? Toyota? Lexus is the luxury brand of Toyota, right? And we know that Toyota is, I believe, Chinese, right? So to get a Lexus over here, to get a Toyota over here is going to cost you more than getting a Ford or Chevy. But if you go over to China, a Toyota is just, it's local. And I haven't been to China, but maybe they look at a Chevy or a Ford like you and I look at a Toyota or a Lexus. You go to where it's made. The reason it costs so much is it costs money to get here. They passing on those charges to you. Same thing with bags and stuff like that. Why is it that you can get a pair of jeans over here, a clean pair of jeans over here, for $50, $60, $70, whatever it costs, right? But then you got brands that are made in other countries that come over here and you got to pay $700, $1,500 for a pair of jeans that they intentionally ripped. Once upon a time, if you had a pair of jeans and they ripped, you were considering, it was really no consideration. You were going to throw those things away. Now you're buying jeans that cost you $1,000, $1,500, $1,700, and they're already pre-ripped. And then we're too blind to think that that's a rip-off. And the funny thing is, how is anybody going to know what kind of jeans they are? You got to tell them. So you got to spend the money that you buy a pair of jeans, one pants, and you can buy dozens and dozens of jeans from someone local. You buy that one pant, and don't nobody know what it is. So what is your game plan for showing them what it is? Are you going to sag them? Sag them real low, right? So people can look at what the jeans are. Oh, Those are blankety blank jeans. And then what? You think there's a certain level of respect that comes because you got those pair of jeans? Don't nobody care. They trying to figure out, okay, how is this person able to get something like that? And the biggest flex is, I can throw money away. Like, why? Who cares? Everybody that really has money don't look like they got money. And everybody that don't really have money, they look like they got a lot of money. Guys and girls will wear all kinds of fake jewelry. Even though jewelry, that's another subject, they will wear all kinds of cubic zirconia or whatever the case may be to look the part. Part of me is like, I'm not mad at you for buying cubic zirconia, because at least you getting the bedazzled look and you ain't breaking your bank. But some of you think it's cool to break bank because you figured out how to make money a little bit more than everybody else. In a relationship, I don't care who you are, in a relationship, everybody should get what they need. There needs to be clear intentions, concise, unequivocal evidence of what is needed by you and by your partner as early as possible. And as you grow and change, your needs will change. Communicate immediately what's new that's needed. It's like a woman going through her 30s and her sex drive is not high. But then she gets in her mid to late 40s and her sex drive is through the roof. She doesn't require a lot when she's in her 30s because her body's not calling for it. But when she gets to her 40s and her body is calling for it, she needs to communicate that to her man, and he needs to do everything he can to meet those needs. That's why it's important for you to get the work stuff out of the way so you can have time. See, a lot of you may want to do something for your spouse, but you don't have any time. But you're not doing anything to rid you of the time occupancies. So that you have time. If you're out there working and busting your hump, kudos. I appreciate you. I applaud you. And hopefully your partner appreciates that too. But what I am saying to you is this. What I'm saying to you is, if the strategy isn't to stop the working, then you don't have a strategy. Listen, you want to be on the right side. Okay, you're right. Okay, you want to be on the right side of the cash flow quadrants. The left side, you have employee and you have self-employed. And on the right side, you have, and I'm trying to do this so it'll be your right. On the right side, you have business owner and investor. The difference between the business owner and investor is really, really one thing. The business owner has system duplications using man, and many men are better than one man in terms of running operations because all the weight's not on one person. But what's even better than man is money. If you can make your money work for you to create more money for you, then that's not going to ask for holidays, weekends, and summers, and whatever the case may be. It's not going to ask for any time off. It's going to work 24/7, 365, and it's going to work with the same ferocity that it's going to work any other day. It's not going to get sick. It's not going to get a cold. It's not going to get a flu. It's not going to get COVID. It's not going to get any other STD. It's not going to get any diseases. And it's not going to ask for vacation time off. It's going to work for you. So ultimately, you need to be trying to figure out with your spouse how you can get to making your money work for you. How you can take whatever you have. And it's a litany of ways. And it's It's more than one way to skin a cat. It's more than one way to get where you're trying to get to. Sometimes we miss our blessing because we think that our blessing looks like this. Our blessing looks like this. But then your blessing comes along and it looks like that, and you totally ignore that because you're so focused on your blessing and how it's supposed to look. Man, that job that he has, that job that you have, those jobs that you have, those are blessings. Those are blessings with strategies. But they're not blessings if your idea is to just work yourself until you can't work anymore and get retirement. That is never going to work. You're not going to work 40 years to get 40% of what you couldn't survive on 100% of, and it doesn't keep up with inflation. And inflation is crazy, crazy now. Gas prices is crazy, crazy now. Food prices is crazy, crazy now. I went to Chipotle to get me a bowl. I remember those bowls used to be like $7 and some change. Man, them bowls are like $10 now. And you say, oh, what's the difference? $3. Man, they charging everybody $3. You better pay attention. Whatever your partner needs. Let me close this out, okay? Whatever your partner needs, you should already know. Do the things that got you that person. Keep doing those things to keep that person. If you bending over and busting it wide in the beginning of the relationship, you better keep bending over and busting it wide. Because love is not a feeling. Love is a command. For you Bible thumpers out there, over 2,000 commandments in the Bible, right? And what is the greatest command of it all? Love. Love the Most High with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor. Who's more neighbor to you than your spouse? So those 2 commandments is where all of the other 2,000 plus commandments hang from. So if you really want to get in rhythm, whether you're into the Bible or not, love is a command. It's not a feeling, it's a command. The same way you got to wake up and feed your infant every 4 hours, right? Is the same way you got to take the approach to your spouse. You got to feed them every 4 hours. You got to just go ahead. They need something from you every 4 hours. And your job isn't to wait until they ask you for what they need. Your job is to be anticipating what they need and getting right to it. You know your partner wants sex. Give it to them. Yeah, but I don't feel like it. Okay. Keep living a relationship where you are operating on your feelings. See, real marriages are not feeling based. Real marriages is covenant based. Real marriages is commandment based. What are you commanded to do? You're commanded to love your partner. Love, honor, and cherish your partner. In sickness or in health, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, till death do you part. You didn't take those vows, I ain't talking to you. But if you took those vows, no matter what changes you've made, no matter what religion you are a part of or religions you're not a part of anymore, okay? You don't like those vows that you took? Sit down with your partner and create some new vows. And maybe you'll find out the vows that you guys make together ain't sustainable for a relationship. You can move on and you can find somebody that can agree to your vows. But the vow is the vow. Outside of religion and everything, the vows that you took when you said, I do, are the vows that you should be made to stick to, especially if you wrote vows. Not especially, but also if you wrote vows. In addition to those standard vows, whatever you said to your partner, you're supposed to be doing. Because nobody made you say that, did they? Had somebody else write your vows? Well, you had somebody else stick you with the commands. But that's what you said that you signed up for. Go do it. Yeah, but my body is changing. I don't give a darn what you feel like doing. Marriage is not about your feelings. Let's stop this Greek introduction of love to marriage. Love, being in love and romance and stuff like that, that ain't got nothing to do with marriage. Not for real, for real. Marriage is about economics. Like, you should be good by yourself. Okay? You shouldn't marry somebody else unless you feel like you can at least go a level above where you are. If you're marrying somebody and they bring you down a notch in any real capacity, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You gonna just let them bring you down? And ladies, I'm sorry, he don't make $100,000 a year, ain't bringing you down. Because a man is supposed to be able to provide you can he provide you a place to stay? Yeah, but it ain't as good as my place. Okay, perfect. Y'all go move in y'all place. Go move in your place. You're supposed to be bringing everything to the table anyway. It's not 50-50, it's 100-100. Bring all of your stuff to the table. He bring all of his stuff to the table. Y'all share it. The two of y'all are as one now. So you shouldn't be hollering, oh, this is mine and this is mine. Listen, I got a car. My wife's got a truck. Okay? But guess what? I drive either one of them. She drive either one of them. So really it's pointless for us to say, this is mine, this is hers. Because reality is, anything were to ever happen, it wouldn't be an argument because I'm there to provide. So even going in, staying in, or coming out, I have to provide. So what do you want me to do with it? What about the cars? Okay, which one do you want? What about the furniture in the house? Okay, what you need it. This is me talking to my wife. What about what about this? What about that? What about the third? It from a male perspective, it's like we're not fighting over anything. And what about the children? What do you mean? What about the children? Well, I mean, I think the children should stay with me. I think the children should stay with you too. But I want to be around so I can be in my children's life, not just on the weekends. I want to be in my children's life every day. So what does that look like? How can we do that? Oh, you can take them to, you can pick them, you can take them to school and you can pick them up from school, or they can come to your house, or you can come over and you can stay with us until nighttime or something like that, or whatever the case may be, but you ain't coming in. Everything needs to be, whether you're going in, staying in, or coming out, everything needs to be amicable to the point, because you guys are trying to work together. And guess what? If you guys aren't together, you need to see her up as high as she can be, because the better she is for herself, the better she's going to be for the children that you had, and vice versa. Y'all cutting each other down. Y'all trying to make each other's lives living you know what. And you're just tearing up the children. You trying to make this dude pay child support. This child support should be, black community need to ban themselves from child support and say, you know what? Ain't gonna be no child support. You just gonna take care of your kids and I'm gonna take care of them. And you know what? If you don't want to take care of your children, that's my fault for picking a sorry, no good person that don't want to take care of their children. And vice versa. But why would you want to be with somebody who displays the characteristics, that shows the red flags up front? Oh, because you're not paying attention to them. You ain't paying attention to them worth a darn. All you thinking about is your feelings and how good it feels. You better get out of your feelings and you better run your operation. Love will come. Telling you. If your partner doing everything that they're supposed to do within reason, that makes you right there want to love them. Some of the happiest, some of the most simplistic yet happiest moments is when I am taking care of the things that I'm supposed to take care of, that I normally supposed to take care of, not supposed to get praised for. And my wife looks over at me and she smiles and she just says out of the blue, I love you so much. Thank you. For what? Just everything that you do. Yeah, but I'm supposed to do that. Yeah, I just want to let you know I appreciate that. See what I'm saying? Like, love will come. The economics need to be right. Love will come. Yeah, you got to be attracted to the person that you're rolling with. That helps, but love will come. Yeah, you got to be, you got to have some, there are going to be feelings that you're going to want to have, but love will come. I'm not asking you to be with somebody that you have zero feelings with. I'm just telling you that your basis shouldn't be around feelings. Your basis should be around courtship, comprehension, value system, and trajectory. Positive, like potential and action. And I'm sorry, fellas, if you're in your 30s or 40s, women don't have time for potential when they get in the age. In the early 20s, yeah, that's why y'all need to be doing your thing in your early 20s. But what I'm saying is, if she's coming around and you're in your 30s and you don't have it together, I'm telling you, bro, she ain't got time to wait for potential. She needs to see what you got going on right now. And it's gonna come off a little harsh, but fellas, before you allow yourself to even be in a situation where you're out there looking for a woman or making yourself available to come into the pathway of the type of women that you want to be with, you need to have your stuff on a basic level together. Do you have a place to stay? Because she's going to like you. She's going to want to be with you. She's going to be around you. It's going to be hard for her to be around you a lot and you living at your folks' house. It's just what it is. She's going to want to come see you and you come see her. It's okay if she don't have a car. She don't have any transportation. Nobody telling you got to have the best transportation. But do you have dependable transportation to be able to go and see her? Because if you don't have dependable transportation, she's going to get frustrated because she can't see you as much as she'd like to see you. She's going to want to go out and do things, and she's going to want to go out and have a good time. Do you have the financial resources to be able to take her somewhere or give her something of basic level? And no, fellas, you shouldn't be trying to overdo yourself to impress a woman. No, if she's not impressed with you, she's not impressed. Not worth impressing. Not for you. And yeah, she might look good. You might find her attractive. But you shouldn't even entertain her if you're not in a situation to maintain her. Ladies, you're going to have to come down off the high horse and you're going to have to understand what maintain means. Maintain, like I said, means, can he provide a place to stay for you? Can he provide food on your table? Can he provide basic clothing on your back? And can he protect you? And does he have the ability and proves and shows the ability to be able to go out there and gather and bring back? And ladies, I'm going to hold you accountable too. Women, I'm going to hold you accountable too, because what he brings home, he might have to go really, really hard to bring it home. You ought to be a good steward over what he brings home, because your sight line is different than a man. You understand that a man is supposed to be big picture oriented. He does not typically do well with details. Now, if you don't do well with details, well, what the heck is going to happen? Don't give me, oh, he's pretty good with details. I'm a big picture oriented person. No, your nature is to be very detail oriented. That's why you guys are born to multitask. You know the old adage, men can't walk and chew gum? Well, I mean, it's a farce, but it's some truth to that, because men are best suited when they know what their assignment is and they can focus on their assignment without the distractions. You ladies are supposed to be minimizing the distraction. See, you ladies are supposed to be providing men peace. So if you're supposed to be providing men peace, then you are a distraction eliminator. Make it so he only has to focus and concentrate on the things that are most prudent to the relationship. Would you want your man focused? You sitting around trying to figure out, you sitting around trying to figure out why he not changing baby pampers, why he not watching the kids while you go out and have fun and all of the stuff like that. When you signing up with a man like that or whatever the case may be, and he's got a grind, you pulling him away from your grind to get him to do something for you that you're supposed to do. You ain't doing nothing but hurting the camp. Your emotions are like clouds or fog. It will minimize your vision. You'll only be able to see the now. I know you need a break, but your break, you won't have to wondering when your next break is going to come because you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel is different than knowing when your break is going to come because you do see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, I know I'm tired. I want to break from these kids and this, that, and the other. That's all right. Me and my husband, we working on such and such and such. And you know what? I see the light of day. I see the progression. But when y'all don't have any progression, y'all are just together, coexisting. He's working and you doing whatever you're doing, working, staying at home, whatever the case, ain't no plan. Then there is no light seen. And so you will get discouraged quickly from all of the things that you have on your plate. You know, like going to school is hard. Going to school is hard. The classes, the homework, the studying is hard. But the person that can see the light of day knows that this is only 4 years. This is only 5 years. This is only 6 years of my life to try to put me in a position to have what I ultimately want. Yeah, that person that went to college when they were fresh out of high school or whatever the case may be, and they graduate now they're 24, 25 years old. They got that behind them or whatever the case may be, and then they're in their career field, or better yet, if you like me, better yet, they took those knowledge pieces and they pieced them together and they created something of their own that's priceless, that they can control. If they are a good steward over their time, their path, and their resources, they're sitting pretty. Because you may not be able to get that in the real world, corporate America, but you can sure create it. So the question is, ladies, can you make do? Because you're passing up man, it is a lot of good brothers out here. A lot of good brothers. They got their footing in what they're doing. They're happy about it. They may not have a degree. They may not have a lot of education or whatever the case may be, but they use their hands. You know, they use their head. They use their body to create for themselves and their loved ones income. And you're passing up a good guy because you want a guy who's got it all, who makes it all. Man, that guy, a lot of times that guy is a jerk. He doesn't have to be a good person. He doesn't have to be nice. He doesn't have to be romantic. He doesn't have to be caring. He doesn't have to be nurturing. He doesn't have to be loving. He don't have to be any of those things. Know why? Because he's got his pick of the litter. Because you all seem to be looking for that same guy. He knows that he's a hot commodity. People understand supply and demand. If there is a huge demand for a type of man, and he knows he's that type of man, he doesn't have to. It's like a beautiful woman with no class. She's so used to getting everything she wants because of her good looks. She didn't have to have class. She didn't have to have character. She gets away with looking good. She gets on the gram and she shakes her hind parts. She got a nice set and she got a nice back. And she got her smooth skin. She go gets her facial and she makes sure she go and put in workout at the gym 45 minutes an hour a day because she knows that's her money maker. She doesn't have to have any class. And you will see a lot of them, they don't know how to cook. Some of them, man, it's laughable. Some of them will go get chicken stir fry, pour the contents in a skillet, and when it starts looking good, they say, "Ooh, that looks real good," and take pictures like we can't figure out that that's some chicken stir fry you got from Walmart, and you just threw it in there, and the heat melted it. Like you ain't doing nothing. We taking pictures and, oh, look, I made some fish. Oh, I made some pork chops. I made some chicken or whatever the case may be. Yeah, in your air fryer. Come on. Come on, man. Trying to trick us. And then that ain't what you want to do. You just advertise them because you know me. The best way to a man is through his stomach. So I'm going to show him through his stomach. And then I'm going to show him all these pictures of me where ain't got hardly nothing on. So he can say, "Ooh, she's a baddie. And she can cook. Oh, you wifey material." And you men, y'all fall for it too. I see y'all in the comments. Y'all be lined up, boy, year after year. What, going back to Black Planet. Just all of these comments y'all making stuff like that. "Ooh, girl, you wifey material." This, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. And then you get the time of day. You the lucky one. You get the time of day from her, and then you find out she don't want to cook. "Hey, what's for dinner today?" "I thought we would order out something." And then in the back of your mind, you just like all of them social media posts about you cooking and stuff like that. You were just trying to reel in a man. I see y'all, man. I see y'all all the time. Y'all good looking, good for nothings. You ain't got nothing. You see this good looking woman and you try to have a conversation with her and it's like crickets. And I'm not trying to down, because there are plenty of women with substance out there. But fellas, you're not going to find them where you're finding these airheads. Yeah, she look good. Yes, she will look good on you. But fellas, how many women out there look good? I don't know about you, but every time I see a woman, and I think that is the baddest woman I've ever seen in my life, I see another one that's better. She always gets topped. Man, it's a lot of women that look good out here. Shout out to my wife. It's a lot of women that look good out here, right? But guess what? A lot of them are going to the Dominican Republic or wherever else to get them BBLs, them Brazilian butt lifts. They all looking and built. They all looking the same. You know how many girls out there look like Kim Kardashian? There's a girl out there. She go by. I remember her on this show called. It was like a Love and Hip Hop show, and her name is Miss. She goes by Miss Nikki Baby, right? Miss Nikki Baby looked like a carbon copy of Kim Kardashian. You cannot tell me she was not inspired to look like Kim Kardashian. And then I got a friend that lives out in California, and she said, "You know how many girls walking around looking like Kim Kardashian?" So I'm telling you, like, beauty isn't exclusive anymore, and women outnumber men. You're going to have your choice, fellas. All you got to do is just focus on getting your grind right and do what you're supposed to do. But be careful when you get your grind right, because there's going to be some women out there that are looking for sponsorship and nothing else. A time passer. They will entertain you because they know you can take them to places they have never been. And as soon as they see another opportunity that's better than you, if they feel like they can sink their claws into it and into that new opportunity, you're gone. That's why you don't want to show a woman what you got. Because you don't want, hey man, Eddie Murphy said it best in Coming to America. "I'm looking for a woman that arouses my intellect as well as my loins." You want a woman that can think. Now, if you can remember, and she's still bad, Vanessa Bell Calloway, that played the girl that wore the golden dress. So beautiful. And go look at her today. She's still so beautiful. And I'm not knocking her. It's just the role. It's just the role I'm trying to illustrate here. Because shout out to Vanessa Bell Calloway. I mean, I've heard her interviews and everything like that. She's a phenomenal woman. I take nothing from her. The role, however, she played was an airhead. Somebody that's just going to do what you say do all the time. Like, listen, I want you to be on my program. Make no mistake about it. But if something is wrong about my program, or if there's an aspect of my program that needs attention, and you're just going to be a yes woman for me, then we could, those mistakes can take us to a place that we both don't want to be. There's always a way to say what you need to say. My wife told me one time, she said, I asked her, because we do these progress reports on each other randomly. And I asked her, I said, is there anything that I can do better? And I'm not going to tell you what she told me, but she told me what I could do better. And then I said, was there feelings about it? Sure. But this person is my rock. This person has my best interest. So I took heed to what she said and I started doing it. That's what we want to be in relationships with people that are going to be able to keep it 100 with us. Michael Jordan doesn't have anybody in his organization that says no to him. Like him and Charles Barkley was good friends. Now, I don't know all the details, but I know enough details to know this. He and Charles Barkley was cool with each other until Charles Barkley started ragging on him about how he runs his organization and how he got a whole bunch of yes men around him. Charles Barkley got cut off. And a lot of people want people around them that's going to support everything that they're doing. You need somebody to tell you, no, man, you're messing up. You're fouling out. Ladies, you have to understand this. You're going about getting what you want all wrong. Women, you're going, not ladies, women, you're going about getting what you want all wrong. You want a man to run you everything you want and need up front before you give anything, which in most times, once that type of woman get what she wants, she finesses him and could care less how he feels, under the protection that he ain't supposed to hit a woman, he ain't supposed to do nothing, he's supposed to take it on the chin. There was this rapper, right? I ain't gonna say no name. There was this rapper allegedly gave this girl $100,000 because she said she had cancer, but she didn't. And she took that $100,000 and she invested and then got with another celebrity. There are a lot of women out there like that. They understand that they can finesse you to get what they want. They will, and they don't mind giving up the panty draws and stuff like that for a little time being, or whatever the case may be. Because when the public looks at them, they're gonna say, "Hey, well, we were together. We were together." When you're with somebody, don't you give up the panty draws? So that's their cue. I remember there was a girl in high school. She only dated me so she could, give up the panty draws to me. Once she did that enough, man, she dumped me like a bad habit. I ain't afraid to say that. It happens. Happens to the best and the worst. But you're going about it wrong, women. You should be showing what you bring to the table. Show what you bring to the table. Nobody's saying sell out, but show what that man is going to be getting by being with you. And if he doesn't reciprocate from the little bit you show, leave them alone. Some of you are, I'm not going to show you wife until I'm married. You're not going to get wife out of me. But the reason that you want to get married to this dude is because he's showing you in real time, husband. He's showing you husband before actually being a husband. But you won't show wife before being a wife. I have a problem with that. And fellas, you should have a problem with that too. We're going to match energy around here. Yeah, but if you don't show me if you don't show me husband right now, I don't want to be with you. Well, if you don't show me wife right now, I don't want to be with you. Isn't that how it works? Isn't that how the universal law works? Whatever you want, you got to sow. Whatever you want, you got to sow. The hell? You got to sow it. You want to be a wife, you got to sow that. Are you going to swing and miss sometimes? The best of us do. But you can't be afraid to swing and miss. Nobody's telling you every time you see somebody with potential, throw all your cards on the table. But just show them a little something of what they get. And let them know, say, hey, listen, I would like to be able to do this for you more. But I can't give you it all before we get to that level. You shouldn't be out here dating no 2-3 years, sis. You're supposed to have some semblance of knowing where it's going to go. Some of y'all are holding on to that 90-day stuff. You're supposed to be finding out if you want to be with a person in the first 90 days, let alone I'm going to withhold something for 90 days. Now, I understand if you haven't given up the panty draws before, whatever the case may be, that's fine. But if you want to be celibate, you want to be a born-again virgin, go do that stuff on your own. Stop getting in relationships. Now you done got down and dirty with people who ain't worth your time, and then you want to be good and wholesome and a nun for a person who is worth your time. If you're gonna get down and dirty, you should get down and dirty with somebody that's worth your time getting down and dirty with. And I'm not promoting you getting down and dirty. I'm saying, look, but I'm also realistic. It's rare to run across a woman today and she ain't never had intercourse before. I'm just saying. If a man want a virgin, man, he better leave America. Because it's not really, because the women having way more intercourse than the men are. So you can't sit there and say, oh, okay, if you run across a woman in America, and I'm not saying she's not out there, she is. But if you run across a woman in America and she has never done it before, I met a girl in college. I ain't gonna drop her name. I met a girl in college at Ohio State. And she was gorgeous. But she was a virgin. The fact that I knew she was a virgin, I never pressed the issue. But I've been in situations with women who all of a sudden are born again virgins. And I'm just going to tell you, even then, and we didn't have this manosphere stuff like we have today, but even then, I couldn't wrap my finger around why she wanted to be abstinent with me. I could never buy her saying, because I think you're special. I could never wrap my mind around that. Sorry. And men that'll tell you, oh, no, I understand. That's bull crap. That's what we saying because we're trying to buy. This is exactly why men get in the friend zone. Because we think that you're going to have a moment of weakness and we're going to be there to capitalize. I had a girl one time tell me that I was a fire extinguisher in a glass. break open in case of an emergency. And my response to her was, what can I do to create urgency to get the emergency? Because at the end of the day, look, I mean, we had great conversations. I talked to her. We had wonderful. She's so cute, beautiful, gorgeous, sexy, or whatever the case may be. I was trying to get some draws, man. I was trying to get me some draws. I wanted to be a gentleman about it, but I was trying to get me some draws. And I'm telling you, I have more than once have fell into these situations where I got friend zoned, and a lot of it was my fault. I should have been upfront about my intentions. Hey, listen, I don't mean any disrespect or whatever the case may be, but I'm just letting you know, like, don't ever look at me like a brother, because like you bad and I find you attractive. And look, what's up? You know, no, I don't see you like that or whatever the case may be. Next thing you know what she needed to be hearing? How come you don't call me anymore? How come you're not calling me this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be? Whether I'm shallow or deep, I'm telling you my intentions. I'm not saying you have to meet my intentions, but I'm telling you my intentions. And if you don't find a fit there, stop playing with me. Vice versa. Be clear on those intentions. Be clear as soon as you can. As soon as you can. I'm not saying that you got to blurt it out right in that moment, but you need to, even if you're not saying it to the person, you need to be giving them some type of vibe, or you need to be giving them some type of hint. Maybe you start off subtle and you give see, I'm not subtle though. I'm not. But I'm not saying that you don't have to be, I'm not saying you have to be like me. But even if you're being subtle, like if you want her, like don't be pulling that I'm afraid to really look at her and make eye contact with her. Make that eye contact with her, bruh. And if she ain't picking up the signal, then you take it to the next level. Go in for a hug. She start pushing away. You say, hey, okay, hey. And you just say, hey, listen, I was just, yeah, but you're getting too close to me or whatever the case may be. Okay, well, what's up with that? I mean, you cool? I mean, what's going on? I'm not telling you to go grab her butt and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, try, you want to get close to her. When opportunity presents itself, use good judgment. Try to get close to her. And if she's receptive of that or whatever the case may be, use that opportunity to look her in the eyes or something like that. Use that opportunity. If you want to go in for a kiss and you feel like it's right, go in softly. And if she starts backing up or whatever the case may be, respect that. But also understand this, ladies, we can respect you all day long. We can respect your wishes of what you're trying to do and what you're not trying to do. But you need to respect our wishes that we do not want to entertain what we don't want to entertain. Yeah, I'm just not in a space right now. I remember this girl one time in college, bad. And I was trying to get close to her and everything like that, right? And she was just like, I just came out of a bad relationship. And I said, okay. She's like, so I mean, I don't foresee myself, moving in that direction anytime soon. I said, all right, I understand. We continued to have our conversations at that moment and enjoy each other, whatever the case may be. And when the night was over, I respected her and I was just like, hey, well, I got to get me some sleep. I got some classes in the morning and everything. She was like, okay. But I never said, all right, I'll call you later. I was just like, all right, take care. She saw me on campus, weeks and weeks later. And she was just like, I haven't heard, what's going on? I ain't heard nothing from you. And I was like, hey, I ain't know you was on anything. You kind of let me know what things was. Oh, so that's all you wanted? I'm not saying that. Well, I mean, that's what it's for. I was just like, you know what? I just felt like you were dealing with a whole lot of things, and I thought I should back up because I liked you. And I didn't want to allow myself to like somebody that wasn't ready to be liked. You can always spin it. You can always spin that thing. It's one of those, it's not you, it's me. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, don't be afraid that a woman's going to call you a dog, because we're all dogs. All men are dogs. It's just some of us hunt for sport and some of us hunt for purpose. And there's a time in your life, perhaps, where you may be or was hunting for sport. You know what that means? That means you go out there, you reel in the fish, you catch it, you take pictures with it, show your buddies, look what I caught, you throw it back in the river. Throw it back in the ocean. You're just hunting for sport. But some of us go out there and we reel it in. We look at that fish. That's going to taste good tonight. And we put that mug in the cooler. We ain't got time to be hunting for sport. We are putting what we catch is what we eating. And that's how a man is when he's ready to get married. He's still a dog. He's still hunting. His focus has changed from sport to eat. So now he's trying to eat. So everything he goes out there and and I'm not saying that all women are fish. I'm just using it as a metaphor. But anything he goes out there and get, he either doing it because he enjoys doing it, or he's doing that because he has to do it. So you can hunt for sport. You can go out there and do things for hobbies. It's like a business. You can run your business like a hobby. Do it when you have free time, this, that, and the other. But it'll always be a hobby. You ain't going to make no real nothing on it. But when you're doing it on intentional purpose, it's a different mode. It's just like, yo, I got to wake up early. I got to stay out late. I got to catch what I can catch. Matter of fact, I don't know if I'm going to have to catch. Every day's got to be a fish day for me, because I don't know how much I'm going to catch today. And if I caught a lot today, I still got to go out there and I got to fish some more the next day, because every day is a fish day for us. Every day is a hunt day for a man, but every day ain't a catch day. And we got things that we're out there fishing for, that we're hunting for. And I'm not saying you're not a real man if you are hunting for sport. I'm just saying that a real man, a man doesn't become a man until he has responsibilities. Till that man has responsibilities, he is not a man. If a man is doing everything he can to avoid responsibilities, he's not a man yet. He may take on the physical appearance of a man, but when he doesn't want smoke, he's not a man. Now, I'm not saying, now listen, there are men that have raised their kids and they don't want any more responsibilities. I'm not saying he's not a man anymore. Once you become a man, you are a man. Ain't no going back from it. You can start acting childish as a man. It just makes you look bad when you're acting childish as a man. But if a man has already accepted responsibilities, taken care of those responsibilities, and chooses not to have any more responsibilities, that doesn't mean he's not a man. He's already got the rhythm of taking care of others. It's easy for him to take care of himself. See, when you becoming a man, the idea, I don't know about anybody else, but the idea of being out on your own for the first time, it's frightening in some instances, because you've never done it personally. But once you've done it and you know you can do it, and you've done it for not only yourself, but you've done it for your spouse, your children, it's nothing to a man to take care of just himself or just him and his spouse, because he's like, I've done this. I keep trying to tell you, you have to accept the fact that when you are getting with someone, that they have needs and you have needs. The covenant commitment is, I'm ready to learn, master, and understand what your needs are, and then I'm committing the rest of my life to giving you what you need, no matter how I feel. And the other person needs to be saying the same thing. Now, what happens when you get to a stage in your life where what your partner needs, you can't any longer give it to them? Well, you Bible thumpers, let's go to Sarah. Because for a while it was Sarah and it was Abraham. For a while. And we don't know what Sarah looked like, but we can draw the conclusion based on the story. Okay? I'm not saying that the stories are true or false. I'm just using it as a great example, because some of you feel like the stories are true. Some of you feel like the stories are kind of allegorical and things of that nature. It doesn't matter. The story is there to at least illustrate and make a point. When Sarah got to the age where she was old and her husband was told that he would have a child, she could not see her being able to produce what was needed and what was orchestrated and ordained to her husband Abraham. But guess what? She did something that a lot of you ladies ain't willing to do. But in marriage, you have to be willing to do. And it's nobody else's business. But she said to her husband Abraham, she brought to her husband Abraham her maidservant who was younger and in fertile years. She brought him. She brought her to him. Have you considered my maidservant? He didn't say, you old, let me sleep with your maidservant. She said, have you considered my maidservant? Or she presented her maidservant to Abraham. That takes a person of might who's vested in to be able to come to the conclusion that they can't see them providing something that's essential to their spouse. So they're going to do everything in their power to make sure the provisions are made so that their spouse has what they need. Whew. See, some of y'all are toast right there. Toast. But can you, first of all, you should give everything that you got to your spouse. Listen, understand or comprehend, and execute. You should do that. Because when you're asking to be your one and only, you're saying, no matter how I feel, I'm up for the task. I'm going to be there. And as long as you do it, as long as you give it. See, some women think, if I give it to him, if I give him what he wants, he's still going to go out there and he's still going to do whatever he wants to do. Not true. It depends on who you with. All men aren't like that. See, men aren't concerned with what they want as much as they're concerned with what they need. And if a man has what he needs, any wise woman knows, keep his stomach full, keep his sack empty, and give him peace. And for the wrong man, he's going to squander that. But for the right man, he's going to say, his mindset's going to be different. It's like this. Watch this. Never go to the grocery store on an empty stomach. Now, why would you go to the store? Why is that saying true? Because your eyes will be bigger than your stomach. You'll buy a whole lot of things that you don't even need. But you want to go and carry your hungry self to the store, and you want to go grocery shopping. Then you come back to the house and most of your basket is snacks and sugar. But when you go to the store and you're not hungry, you can make sensible decisions. So ladies, when you send your man, I'm going to just say it like it is. And this goes for the fellas too. When you send your spouse out there, if it's a woman and she is just completely backed up and she just wants to release, she's going to search for attention that much more. And as a husband, you want your wife to hang up the attention coat of retirement. She doesn't need to be advertising anything anymore because she got you now. What she need to advertise for? She just needs to be presentable, good looking. She doesn't need to be thirst trapping out there. Now, as for a man, if you send him out of that door and he is going out there and his sack is not empty, it's like the attention for the women. It's going to be seeking directly and or indirectly a means of release. Doesn't make her a bad person, doesn't make him a bad person. It's just the fact of the matter that when a need is there and it's not met, the hunt or the posturing, in the case of a woman, the posturing is there for a woman. She's going to be a little more flirtatious than normal. She's going to be a little more nicer to strangers than normal. Or friends that are friends with her are going to have the opportunity to get closer to her. But that's another story about the friends. I'm not going to get into that. But what I'm saying is everything that was far-fetched becomes considerable. And that's not just with sex. That's with anything. Anything that you do, anything that you need, rather, is going to be more considered when there's a yearning for it. Let me tell you something. I would never send my wife out. I don't care how I feel. I would never send my wife out of this house that I have into the world knowing she needs something and I didn't give it to her or try. And she wouldn't do that to me either. And that's why we've been rocking as long as we have. And that's why we're still interested in each other as long as we have been. But the next step in relationship that must be mastered is if you cannot, will you make a way? If you cannot, will you make a way? Or is that person made to go without something they need? Because you won't. If you won't, shame on you. But if you can't, and you say, well, it's no way that you're going to be able to get that because I can't do that. See, some of y'all think, oh, well, throw the whole relationship away. If we took the vows to be with each other forever, then the only way it's going to happen is we're going to have to be able to adapt and change. We're going to have to grow and develop things that we would never do. If it's something that you don't want to do, if it's something that you don't want to have to deal with, then do what you got to do so you don't have to deal with it. Listen, if I want my family to make sure that they eat every day, then I got to work every day. I got to make provisions, or I got to put systems in place to make sure that we have what we need every day. Otherwise, it's going to come to us. And I don't want it to come to us. But if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, isn't it going to be, isn't, isn't it going to result in a lack? The man that gets up and gets after it will have plenty in his cupboard. But the man that's lazy and don't want to work, he will grow to be an impoverished man. By the sweat of your brow, baby. And if you're working smart, your sweat should be setting up systems so you don't have to sweat. This is what I'm saying. You don't have to be a business owner to have systems in place. You can just invest, and it's what you invest in. You invest in what the public tells you to invest in, where 80% of the people that invest in, you ain't gonna never have nothing. That's why you need to call me, BuckeyeFinancialLLC.com. Check me out. Book an appointment. I'm in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas, Ohio, and Maryland. You're in one of those states and you want to find out for free what is out there for you and you have a serious inquiry, call me. I'll tell you what's out there based on what you're trying to do. But that's what you're supposed to be doing together when you're a couple, making sure that your partner has what they need. And if you're not able to provide what your partner needs, then why are you standing in the way of what your partner needs? Because you're selfish. Because the most unselfish relationship is monogamy. So if you want to have a one-woman man or a one-man woman, the most unselfish relationship is monogamy. You can be selfish by yourself. Or you can have more sense of self if you're in a multi-relationship. Some of you are so gung-ho about not sacrificing anything that you end up becoming the sacrifice of everything. And then when you're in a situation where you have to do a ton of things that you don't want to do, that you can't wrap your mind around, it's maddening. And because you can't wrap your mind around not getting in the way of your partner needing something, or sometimes your partner needs something and you want to level up and say, well, I'm going to need that too. That's not what you need. That's not what you want. Why are you trying to want and need what your spouse wants and needs? Your needs are different. In a heterosexual marriage, you're both men and women don't need the same thing. But they need what they need. So what are you doing? If you haven't understood what I'm trying to say, you just don't understand me, and that's okay. But I hope that you are considering everything that you're dealing with right now, and you're thinking about how important, especially in the Black community, how important the soundness of economics is, and how irrelevant love is. In terms of being in love, in terms of being in love. Because the sound economics provides the environment for the commandment of love. When you're commanded to love your partner, you need to have soundness and foundation around you. Marriage, they shouldn't even call it marriage. They should just call it economics. Family economics, because that's what marriage is. It's the practice of some semblance of group economics. Because when a family masters being in group economics together, they can be something to their community. You think about like the Malcolm X's, and you think about the Martin Luther Kings of the world, the Medgar Evers. They were propped up by Black families. I said families, not mom and children. I said families. I'm talking about What makes up a family? A, a husband, a wife, and children. That's what makes a family. Matter of fact, it's not even a family until you have children. Say what you want. Family is created when two people come together and create one or more. Yes, adoption too. Shout out to adoption. I am not knocking adoption. But what I am saying is you can't be a mother or a father without children. It's just not happening. You can be father-like, you can be mother-like, but you ain't a father or a mother unless you have children that you're responsible for, whether it came through your womb or whether you adopted. So now, what are you going to do with the information? No matter where you are in your situation or whatever the case may be, whether you're new to your situation, seasoned to your situation, old to your situation, you guys need to have a progress report on each other. Everybody changes every 3 to 5 years anyway. If you are 30 years old, you were not this person at 25. You were not this person at 20. And if you don't like what I'm saying, there go the door. There go the door. Bye. This ain't for you. You don't like what I said? That's some side piece information. That's some this, that's some this, that's some that. No, you ask, ladies and gentlemen, you ask for the role, fulfill it. And if you're not able to fulfill it, you said that you was going to stay for the long haul. Make the adjustments necessary. But if you know it takes stamina, if you know it takes energy, if you know it takes whatever adjective you know that it takes for your marriage to work, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're fit for marriage. See, I'm a big guy, right? I look like a football player, right? I'm a lot smaller now, but I look like a football player, but I'm not fit to go out there and play in anybody's football game. Yeah, I'm fast, but I'm not fit to go out there and play basketball. There is a conditioning that I have to do to be fit to be able to do the assignment. Now, some of us are in these relationships and we are not fit to be what we need to be. And we don't want to work on our conditioning. Work on your conditioning so you can be what you need to be. Work on your conditioning. Ladies, you got to go and take a supplement to get your libido up. Go take that supplement. Long as, I would say, natural. Fellas, if you got to do whatever you got to do to get your soldier to stand up, go get you a supplement to make your man. You better go do what you got to do if that's what your partner requires. Now, if you're in a relationship with a partner that don't really care about that or whatever the case may be, cool. But you should stay healthy for them anyway, because you ain't no good to nobody if they gotta take care of you and you have continent issues and you can't take care of yourself. You want to be an asset in your relationship and not a liability. Don't let yourself fall into a liability state. Granted, some of us out here are in a liable state. Some of us can't do this for ourselves and can't do that for ourselves. But it better be from a lack. It better not be because you're not trying. Was that double negative? It better not come from you not trying. It better not come from you not doing the research. It better not come from you not doing what you're supposed to do to make yourself and put yourself in a position where you can do. And when you, by goodness, if you can do it, you ought to do it. And you ought to go hard for your partner, because the benefit of them is the benefit of you. Fellas, if you enhance your wife, that makes you look good. That brings you favor. And ladies, if you're not amplifying your husband, that's messing you up too. All of the things that you want to do, all of the additives and everything that you want to have, he can't enhance you.
You just gonna let him go out there and just do whatever he do? You ain't gonna help him. You ain't gonna give him no food. You ain't gonna cook him. You gonna send him off with a full sack. You gonna send him off with an empty stomach. Like, what is your problem? Then you daring him not to be tempted by anything else. I'm sorry. He gonna be tempted, and he might partake in the temptation because somebody else can appreciate something that you ain't appreciating. So why are you putting yourself in a position where you're not even appreciative of the dude that you with? What are you with him for? If you can't appreciate him, you can't respect him, like, just don't be with him. But who gonna take care of you like he take care of you? So you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about the problems, but you don't want to talk about the solution. So ladies, you're gonna have to get it together. Fellas, you're gonna have to get it together too. Ladies, if I think it's better to date when you're in your early 20s. Not date. I think it's better that you start courting when you're in your early 20s because you got everything at your beckon. Everything comes easy to you. Ask any woman who's in her 30s. The things that she got away with when she was in her 20s and the bounce back she had in her 20s, she don't have them in her 30s. And then you start talking about 40s and 50s, it takes really hard work. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, get out there and evaluate yourself. Do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, in a relationship, everybody needs to have their needs met. The wants will be taken care of when the needs are taken care of. And a want, my friend says this to me. He says, a need can become a want, but a want can never become a need. There'll never be a time where a soda is something that I need to drink. But if I don't drink water and I need water, I will eventually want water. So a lot of times you thinking that men are out here wanting some things that you don't particularly care about, but it's because they haven't been serviced and they need it. And now it's come to a point where they want it. Because I'm going to tell you, ladies, the reason that all men are after intercourse is because it's something that we need. And for you to try to justify men not needing that, when men need peace more than anything, do you know what's released inside chemically a man when he releases in intercourse? You can never say that a man don't need that. And if you're in a situation, you don't ever find yourself in a situation with a man where you can't provide him what he needs. If you can't provide him what he needs, either not be with him or make way for him to get what he needs. But I'm telling you, when you make the commitment to get married, you don't throw the relationship away. You improvise on what you can do to salvage the relationship and have it, because that's the person that you chose or allowed to choose you. All right, so I'm going to wrap up there. I appreciate you. I love you guys. Make sure that you like this video, comment on this video. I don't care what you comment. It'd be nice if you talk to me nice, but hey, I'll take your mean comments too if you want. Share this video, okay? And also subscribe to this channel. I love you.